opening matches, but that was just a warm-up compared to the stakes today. Playoffs are on the line.
Yeah, first team moving on out of the Swiss stage here, and it'll be Sentinels going up against the number 2 seed out of China. This match is going to be a good one.
Honestly, I can't wait to see what maps are going to be played here. And we have a sunset pick out of Sentinels.
Okay.
Out the gate.
I mean, as we take a look here at the OMEN map select, like you said, Mel, Sunset is going to be chosen by SEN. This is what we wanted, right? Even in the opening match, we wanted to see them go to Sunset.
Which, this is so insane because in their opening match, they first banned Sunset. This is complete, I can't imagine, like, this isn't going to take them off guard.
I think they must have seen something from that Billy game that they could maybe have an answer to.
Yeah, they have the VODs, and maybe just, you know, let's have 7 maps in the pool. Let's make sure we can play everything with high aspirations to make it towards best of 5s towards the end of the tournament. I also think it's quite interesting opening things up on Icebox here. It's a map we haven't seen Sentinels play since the nerfs to Taeho. That's a map that we still had John playing the Taeho on. Not every team was rocking the Taeho there, but what agent is he even going to play, Mel?
That's what I'm wondering. There's so many different options. We've seen Sentinels play so flexibly and so many different agents. I'm ready for anything, but I'm specifically looking that this could get a little spooky here for Sentinels, considering Wisey's aggression is very rewarded on a map like Icebox.
Yeah,
And
I was just gonna say, you saw him like pushing so far forward, whether it was through Viper walls or even like going through like kitchen and fighting back towards spawn on the attacking side.
I think it's so interesting that for Billy, they get to play 2 out of the 3 maps we have already seen against Liquid. And for SEN, how have Billy been preparing for this, Mel? They don't have footage on the first 2.
Exactly. Honestly, that's where I'm wondering where this is going to go. And I think a lot of it is going to rely on what they were saying in that video was adaptability on the fly. And we are going to see, are these Chinese teams capable of doing that on the fly right here, right now?
Yeah, you also have to keep your eyes on Icebox. Like, this is a map where Ruscio was absolutely popping off on the Harbor pick, was looking really strong there just the other day in his debut.
I love the Harbor so much, but if it's anyone that knows how to deal with that, it's probably going to be SEN. You know,
they play against plenty of it, for sure.
They're familiar with the Harbor here. But what would you like to see John QT do here? We saw the Sky already. We saw a Viper too.
Yeah.
What are his realistic options here?
I mean, one of the first thoughts my mind goes to is Sova, but at the same time, you know, Neri does play Sova. I could definitely see them going back to something standard like Sova, KO. You really can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
They have 2 great players on both of those roles.
Because most recently they have been playing Zekken on the Omen. They've been playing no duelist on that map. And you know what, like, you are bringing up Sova. John did play a little bit of Sova early on in the year, back when Sentinels were playing like Abyss, for example, but we haven't seen him playing it on Icebox. And that is an agent that you do have to put the hours in to get up to speed on a map.
Yeah, and looking at what Billy are going to run, because we don't anticipate them to change anything. Icebox looked pretty solid against a Liquid. Is there anything maybe SEN can just do to counter, you know, their Harbor Viper comp with their agent select?
I think in terms of reading into the Harbor Viper comp, they need to be very vigilant about the Cove usage. If Sentinels is going to start attack, or if they are on defense, they need to constantly be aware of the Cove and whether they need to break it.
Yeah, I also think that you need to do like some amount of exploiting the timings of the Harbor walls, because like if you're attacking into a Harbor Viper, like you can just get permanently stalled out, it feels like, over towards the A side of things, especially if you can't find a way to like break through the wall when they're recycling that. So a lot of teams, a lot of times, teams will try to bait that utility and bait that Harbor wall out before like a quick pivot or a fake on the other side.
Exactly, and I'm specifically looking towards Sentinels on the defense here, because just yesterday they did struggle against a double controller comp on split when Sentinels started on the defense, and I'm really expecting Zekken to step up here and get those opening kills that we did not see him get in that first half of defense split.
He's got to, right? And especially it depends what his agent is going to be, because, you know, we haven't seen him play the duelist on this map on a little while, but he is so key, I think, in Sentinel's game plan, especially when it comes to like having any amount of forward information, the lines he's going to be holding, whether that's an operator or with a rifle in his hands. If he's not firing on all cylinders, they're going to struggle.
I mean, Sentinels, they have the Pope on their side, so I don't know what Billy can do.
Is that the new Pope?
In this matchup, it's going to be a tough one for them. I also do wonder, on the side of Billy, who are they sending out to match Zelsis? We saw on the side of Wolves, Super BB was up there, was giving it right back to him, and we saw really the impact you can have when you can get into the heads of some of the SEN players. Billy, I don't know, K9 maybe?
I'm not sure. I know Neff was very chill and nonchalant when he was up here in the post-show yesterday, so I'm going to assume it's not going to be Neff, and YZ is also that silent killer kind of duelist, so not looking at him for that either.
Yeah, I do want to highlight on the other side of things, though, Narrate, because this guy came back into the server just the other day and was looking real strong with Sentinels. Again, like, you think about, like, a few of those, like, really clutch rounds, these moments on Split from Narrate, where he was just absolutely sharp, and on, like, the bonus round as well, that got them snowballing in this comeback in the second half, and on top of that, his cross-map utility with the breach stun setting up his teammates was just excellent.
And in those rounds where they were down in the first half, where it was a pretty lukewarm start, we saw him being pretty yappy, pretty emotional, and pretty, I guess, talkative in those rounds, Mel, which I definitely didn't expect coming out of him.
Yeah, what I'm liking seeing the most out of Narrate here is the fact that he's really coming up to the occasion, right? Like, they were down 4-8. He comes in with a 3K on the pistol to bring them back in. He's the ultimate example of composure for Sentinels.
If Sentinels double down with a Tejo, it will be the first Tejo we see at Masters Toronto, and not something we would have expected.
And we are seeing Russia lock in that harbor. 2 people instantly locking. I think one of my favorite parts about the live agent select is really just seeing how instantly some players lock and how some like to play around and wait and kind of give us that anxiety.
I really hope they play Sage. I'm such a big Sage enjoyer on this map, Ender.
I'm an enjoyer too, but I just don't really think that's in the Sentinels' wheelhouse, all things considered. I think Sen have a lot of experience playing up against this BLG comp. This is a comp that a lot of teams over in America's Crew, MIBR, love to run, even going back into last year with Leviathan. This is pretty stock standard. It's going to be John QT going over to the KO, all things considered. So KO, Gecko, double flashes, and a lot of options to like fight past these double smokes that BLG are running.
This is really interesting, and I think it's going to pair exactly into what you just said. Getting in front of those walls and disrespecting the controller util is, I think, the best thing that Sentinels can do.
Also, catching good knife timings against a Viper or a Harbor completely invalidates that cycling of utility to hold onto the A site.
M80, well, you'll always be famous. You'll always be famous. I can't wait to get into this one. With playoffs on the line, it's time to send it over to the big dogs, Uber and Wyatt.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Those memories of Sentinels shocking 0-2 at Bangkok are starting to fade into the periphery after their opener here in Toronto. But to make those playoffs, they've got Bilibili Gaming standing in their way. An opponent who said they wanted to go up against Sentinels. They feel more confident against America's rosters.
That is what YZ said. However, John just saying earlier, sorry you drew us. You don't want to go up against Sentinels next. The community are absolutely expecting Sen to win this game, kind of writing off Bilibili entirely, feeling like this is Sen's to lose. Easiest path to the playoffs for them. But Bilibili, sometimes a volatile team, but when they hit hard.
Pistol round.
YZ.
Coming in, folks. Eyes on YZ like he pushed up. A second getting in their face already.
Down A.
Trying to get up over towards that Belt's direction. Gets his, but YZ is still standing.
That's something that Bilibili are going to have to be aware of playing on attack. It's so easy for the Omen to get some of these forward positions. Play from Belt, play from Pipes.
No Sentinels presence here at A, and they're not convinced that that's where Bilibili are ending yet. Corzelsis has pushed up, ready to watch a drift back in the B direction, which is a little bit more tightly held, but now, just now, these rotates are coming through to the A side. Bilibili looking to pave the way.
They're just biding their time. They're seeing if anyone from Sentinel's backside would have gone for a peek. Maybe they can get a man advantage that way. Neff spots out Zelsis. Everyone from B rotating off. Do they expect this long?
They're gonna crunch him.
Well, they certainly do now. He has to convert. Neff finding the advantage for Bilibili as the rest of the team pivot back towards this B side, and it looks like he wants to go for more. What a shot!
Out of nowhere comes Neff. Heads are rolling. The IGL from Bilibili making an early statement.
30 seconds left.
Nice little pivot back here from our Chinese #2 roster. See the vulnerability of Zelsis in mid and pounce on him.
That is a cheeky plant too for mid under tube. You don't see that often. And Narrate was already even tagged up by that additional damage from Neff, who goes insane to open this game up.
Beautiful opener. That early aggression for second isn't something that Sentinels can really convert off of, even though it does give them that initial pick-off.
Nasty. The reaction on just swing from John is crazy. And also just credit to Neff for finding that perfect window where the site was open, where the team dragged the rotates, and then he knows that that is his opportunity to get the space. They have enough time to pivot back. Great opening round from Billy. Well played, well called.
His composition as well probably bears a little bit of discussion from Sentinels, right? It lacks duelist. We've seen Zekin on the Omen on this map before. It is obviously the kind of, you know, agent that you can post up with an op at some moments, but there's no real scan initiator on this Sentinels roster. The KO, of course, can 0 point in, but outside of that, it's pretty flash heavy.
Absolutely, yeah. Those 0 points are going to have to get a lot of value. They're great on attack, they're throwing back yellow, etc. Last time we saw Sentinels on this Icebox map, it was in that playoff run in Americas. And they beat G2. That was with the Tejo. But even still, that was the first time an America's team beat G2 in a full series. So they are no joke on this map. Billy picking into one of their better looks in the pool.
Yeah, we saw this.
Feels like it's going to be evenly matched.
We saw Billy obviously face up against that Liquid squad, right? And they sort of mentioned they were not really satisfied with that win. And it was I think it's safe to say, slightly weakened Team Liquid that we saw turn up for their first game here. That won't be an issue going forward, but this would be a real result. And that is a very illuminating 0 point early.
Card out.
BLG opting to buy in fairly light here. No one committing to a full upgrade rifle on this anti-eco. Neff watching over towards B for any early aggression. Posted up with that Marshall. And again, maybe thinking they could absorb some aggression with a full team on A if Zekin opted to go for a forward play, but it's not going to come, so just pivoting back to B main.
John at least has this one-way poison orb that he can play off of, but it's unlikely he's going to be able to encourage a bounce back to A for Billy. And now they hear the Marshall ring out, they know it's about to get heavy. Pressure on John as he backs away. Harbor wall's going to be set up now, as SEN will have a chance to fight for this.
Looks like YZ wants to go hunting, playing up top, unexpected position.
Takes a bit of damage, drops on down, but the rest of Sentinels are considering throwing themselves at the situation. Knight from Yellow spray through that Viper wall. His double controller can be very oppressive to play against, and YZ finds a time to get back in. Knight cleans off Narrate, trying to control from Crow's Nest. Zekin and John. Yeah, not long for this one. Great little shock dart that catches the KO out, and Zekin has not got much to do. So SEN do fork over 5 ult orbs to Billy here in this anti-eco.
Cleaned up with these, the actual guns brought into that round, recovered as well from Billy, so can't really ask for anything more than that. Sentinels are going to be on their first full buy.
Last player.
I'm so low on HP then.
So it's a stack for SEN over on the A side that doesn't really pan out. Billy just, Spidey senses tingling. They opt not to commit there. And they make the right call in the end. Rifles in hands now. Still a Marshall for Neff, Guardian for Rusia. Levi's with the Bulldog. YZ takes a big hit early. And my goodness, the audacity to stand and fight that. Ends up being a trade. Happy enough with that for the attack side on your bonus.
Kano wanted to go for more swing off of that, but didn't actually have a second player to then go with him, so that offers an opportunity for SEN to even things up. Not without 2 of their additional players, though, Zelsis and Bang taking a significant amount of damage. Again, Zekin is just going to take advantage of these teleports on any decent opportunity he can find on defense, get into these angles that other players couldn't.
And of course, he has his own variation on the poison orb. One way that we see. So we'll be slowed down, BLG towards green. They might have up to pull the pin on this one. Alarm bot in mid, so this would spot out any BLG attempt to thrust up that part of the map. SEN have 2 players distributed a day.
Just hoping that acquiring that orb, the sound from it will keep SEN to some extent distracted. You know, have them
30 seconds left.
Steadfast on that B site for this late pivot over towards A, where you do have Bang, John stacked up. They want to anchor. These are entrenched positions.
Bang those got a good little line around it one way. Rusia, how?
The jump peak.
2 headshots. Absurd against Liquid. Rusia also incredible game from him. Big step up and in a pivotal role on this Harbor. Cracks that A site open.
That play should not be happening. That is not realistic. What on earth? We're going to need to see the replay of that one. I believe he gets the spike down as well, so he's just 2 orbs away now from the Reckoning and off on the hunt even. Bonus round being converted on attack. We have seen this map be pretty attack favored since coming back in the pool with just A-hit slams, especially when you have the Harbor. It's so oppressive. It's so difficult to get back in those sites.
Russia belatedly now going for some extra guns. Knows there's very likely going to be a turret awaiting him in kitchen. And I'm getting deja vu. This is reminiscent of SEN's start against Wolves on Split. They lose the pistol and the bonus, and then the timeouts start rolling in as they look for an answer.
Yeah, they just did not come into that game yesterday looking warmed up at all. It took until that second half. It took until Narrate stepped up, wins a clutch, inspires the rest of his teammates with some confidence. That is unreal. Little micro snap.
Oh, I mean, that is land Valorant at its best.
He cannot believe that that happened. And I don't blame him, because neither can I. BLG also, because they just carried over such weak weapons into that bonus, look at the amount of rifles they recovered. Look at their economy already. 4 players at 5K or so.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work for SEN to try and keep a lid on this and to get us in a rate. Embroiled in an early engagement. YZ doubles down.
7-1 for him already. YZ is a relentless player. He only holds down W. He will always go for more. Even if there's not a util to support him, he'll just play off whatever he's got. He's going to always take the fight to you.
And that right now is learning that the hard way. No chance to deploy any of that Gecko util falling early. John's about to swing this from lower rafter. Does he have a timing on Knight? Gives himself up.
And in the meantime, yeah, look at Neff. He has worked his way up tube again. This turret has been watching this position. So if he goes a bit further, he's going to have to break that. The rest of Billy making a late round pivot towards B. This has been the name of the game for them so far. Send that one lurker, typically Neff, get some space, which he succeeded at. Pressure the other side of the map with a pack and then pivot back.
Second tried to put that one way back up there. Wyatt, but it looks like Billy a little bit too fast for him. Caught out of green here by this Nano Swarm, and Levius is affected by the paranoia. So Zekin decides to tuck in Snowman. SEN want to take a pitched engagement here after the plant.
It is dangerous. Their harbor is down, so they don't have that additional high tide to actually obscure them from these angles. And Zekin takes full advantage of that. There's not enough power to keep that Viper wall up, so K9 can actually get away.
Challenging the dig BLG out of these entrenched positions around the B side. Zelsis, though, does get a spot. That 0 point was pretty helpful. Does he drop down and take a fight? He's looking for a gun barrel. Sees it on the right, but Neff's too quick with the left side swing. John will flash himself out here. Zekin had to take that yellow fight, and John succeeds. It's all on YZ now. A great start to the round, but he can't quite land the plane. That is a hard-fought round for Sentinels to win. And it's very costly to get the defenders into the game.
Steady hands there of John and a couple well-placed flashes to allow him to get back in that sight. Take out Levius, who was in a deep, entrenched position, tucked in that corner. That was Sentinels fully forced into the round after saving a couple rifles on the prior. If this had been converted by BLG, massive lead would have been taken.
So much of this is built off the absence of Russia. None of that Harbor util to make it that much more difficult for SEN to locate these anchored positions from BLG.
Yeah, K-Note's inability to escape after planting that spike was his undoing. That was nice from Zekin. Obviously, this BLG economy is out of control. They're going to keep buying, and they love just swinging from belt. Aggression with that cascade, covering up some of the potential dangerous angles. Just that standard Harbor util to open up the round, send that forward, deny the defenders from the ease of getting that orb.
But even if they lose this round, BLG have that economy from such a sick start to keep the pressure on. Here's now drone narrate in a pretty aggressive position, and bang, is there to follow up.
I mean, that is the most YZ-coded YZ play. Oh, I know where he is. Time to swing. And hey, so far, it's been working for him. I cannot blame him whatsoever.
It's been the same spot he's played from, though, and SEN had a high-low setup with Bang there, just pushing around pipe. BLG there maybe just overplayed their hand a little bit, and we're running low on time. 43 seconds left in the round. No duelist up for BLG.
And Neff does break that alarm bot, and you can see it has drawn some attention from the defenders of SEN. Both initiators pivoting towards that boiler position, mid position, and now the util is coming through from Billy to get into this site. When Rusia gets the spike down here, if he can get it down, and should in the cove, he's going to have the reckoning for the post plant. That could be enough to convert a 4 versus 5.
Take from the cove instead, Obster. Head up to Crow's Nest. They'll be posted up on 410. SEN, all 5 guns in the game for a retake. A very flash-heavy composition. First, it's a bit of information. Thrash is going to go ahead, see what he can spot out. Rushia's on top of 410, and he'll be brought down by Bang, who's been very snappy in these rounds. Nightfall's by the wayside. Now it's Neff and Levius who have to play from a long distance. Neff, IGL, all on his own, and that is stunning. It's up to Zelsus and John to bring him down, but John's on the defuse, still gets the job done. Ironclad nerds to keep the stick. Neff exits with 4, but not the round win.
Brutal damage done to SEN. Look at their economy there. Coming into this, it's pretty appalling, and they're staring down the barrel of multiple ults. That reckoning wasn't actually used by Rusia. Didn't have the opportunity. Was a little bit focused, perhaps too much so on getting kills. Posted up top here. And Bang exploits the lack of anyone being able to trade for him. Just gets an isolated 1v1. And from there, it's all too easy for the rest of the SEN players to pull back in, immediately pressure the spike. That was well played, but now they're in serious danger of getting put onto an eco.
The Andron again to dissuade. Narrates pretty forward positioning here off the rip. Okay, a cascade thrown out here, but BLG are behind it. Moving to B early this time.
BLG have been getting pretty free control of B main, and you can see that they're leaving the orb. They're going to give it to K-Knight. He's going to have the Hunter's Fury.
Delsus here has to play as safely as he can. Harbor Wall to follow up on the Viper one. The BLG under the cover of all of this site. Securing util will have their plant.
He's just walking through. He's just walking through the walls.
But he can. He's not walking into a high-low setup like he was the previous round. It was that singular player of Zelsus. And he wasn't even in an aggressive spot. Viper's bit to follow up here. Zekin found YC to again
not slow down. He's just going to keep fighting.
Maybe that's exactly what SEN are hoping for. They've evened up the odds now. Okay. Here's the null command. Rusia has to respect the fragment, stepping to the side of it now, still occupying this pit, but takes a big hit down to 30. It's dangerous, but Rusia thrives in these circumstances, and the spray is good. 2 for the Harbor. Levy is now playing from Crow's Nest. Sees John on the low ground, but all these ultimates, it's just too much to handle. BLG close the round out.
That is just YZ opening up the round with a great kill onto Zelsus, always going to hunt for more. But ultimately, in that retake situation, there's just too much util remaining, too many ults remaining for the Billy side. Once this pick goes down before John is able to use the null command, they are in a horrific situation to get back in. And look, going into this, we're looking at a YZ that throughout stage 1 was able to be the highest ACS, highest kills per round player in China. And you're wondering, is that just because he's able to farm some of the lower tier teams, get away with things that he shouldn't be allowed to get away with as the competition scales throughout this tournament? Look, so far, he's had a couple misses, but he's hitting hard. 9 and 4 right now. Finding good first kills.
In that series against TL, he's involved in 30 first engagements. Ends up 15 and 15 first kill, first death, but often on the Neon looking to create that early space and be traded. He's always looking for a fight, but it has hurt him on a couple of these rounds. Walking into a high-low setup, standing on top of yellow, above the Viper's wall, where, you know, Zekin is easily able to pick him off. Couple of things there that can be his unraveling.
Got an early timeout call from Kaplan, can't blame him. Things are beginning to get out of hand for SEN. This is essentially a full eco right now. Kaplan said yesterday in the coach interview, midway through the game against Wolves after that first map, that it was difficult to execute our game plan. We're not used to their style. We're not used to the way that that region plays. It took time to adapt, to get in the game. And Billy, they're pretty unique. YZ, one of one player.
5 suppressed.
0 point revealing all of BLG. They're on a slow roll in this A direction. Now, last time there was a stack here for SEN at A. On that round number 2, they pivoted away from it towards B. This time, though, YZ's licking his lips, looking to put this blade sword to work. Reckoning also going to be deployed now. It's a lot for SEN to manage with these weaker weapons. And YZ, flown like a butterfly, gets hit pretty hard, though, there, dropped low. Zeltas did fall by the wayside. And here's K-Knight in to the cookie jar. And we'll have his meal. It's all on Zek, and now we'll step up and let this one be done without much events.
Absolutely effortless with that reckoning. I mean, when your positions are getting scrambled and you have to fight out in the open, awkward engagements with bad weapons, you're just absolutely fried. And that's going to be Billy's economy thriving in the latter part of this first half. Serious control of this game. Sentinels maybe just at least glad that all of those ultimates have been expended over the last couple rounds.
These early explorations for Bilibili have been pretty effective, often pivoting away from a bomb site once they gain enough info. Now we're headed over towards the B direction, and as always, Neff trying to play through me, but this time John is ready. Playing from Boiler.
Oh, Zekin just unaware of what's going on, and Zelsis tries to swing in for him. They end up going 2 for 2. Not a horrendous result. Safety in the cove to get this spike down for Russia. How do Bilibili want a position right now? They're going back into B main. Why is he going far away? It looks like he wants to try to re-wrap through mid. The danger is the spike isn't exactly planted for him, so he's going to have to pick up the pace and get really deep towards that site.
Wow, up on top of two, but he's made a bunch of noise, and Bang is ready for him. Never change, Wisey.
Found them.
2 players over here towards yellow. That's what BLG are working with in this post plan. John is readying a pop off this flash. Russia moves in. Oh my goodness, again! That is ungodly from Russia! In the mosh pit, not a care in the world. Another buy round from SEN, slapped down.
Swings out in the Molly. SEN a little too slow to react. Wall lined up. Again thrown onto an eco. This is brutal. Things are getting so scrambled with the anchors here between Zelsis and Zekin.
This has again been the issue though. Look at SEN overwhelmed by this pace. Zekin is not ready for Wisey to be so quick to yellow. Zelsis, as a result, is caught out in the open, and they do well to go 1 for 1, 2 for 2 in that case. But still, they get overwhelmed.
But this really is some serious deja vu from yesterday against Wolves. The team from China starting on attack, hitting crazy shots, running over them mechanically, and it took SEN until the second half to get their heads in the game. But right now, things are getting completely out of hand. Feels even more so than with Wolves yesterday.
Here comes all of the Harbor Util deployed. Cove placed out a little further into the open. K-Knight able to get a plant despite being a bit more exposed, and there's Russia yet again. Sharpest attack, Narrate tries to show.
Just another reckoning already. Absurd.
And they're making great use of this now. SEN really having their jimmies rustled. Only with these sheriffs to go to work with. Another clean execute. BLG once more commit that reckoning into a half buy, an eco round for SEN just to secure it.
What was it, 2 rounds ago? I think on the other eco he had used one just to convert it with ease. Only a handful of opportunities for Sentinels left to get into this. As I mentioned earlier, this attack side on Icebox has certainly been favored since its return to the pool. Teams are just so overwhelming with their assaults on these sites. But 2 is not nearly enough to play with. That just feels like an inevitability for Bilibili to take this when the sides swap. Another buy round, many ultimates to play with. Bang yet to get super involved on this map, and it's a map that I associate with his dominance. His anchoring here is typically fantastic, but just hasn't had opportunities to get things rolling just yet.
So far though, Bang really has been the only antidote to the chaos that Wisey has brought. Catching him as he, updrafted onto Tube or part of that high-low swing on A. SEN have not been able to string these rounds together. This time though, they got ultimates that can dictate tempo a little bit more to the defenders' favor. Viper's Pit there at B. Lockdown should have been needed, unless Zelsis gets flattened here.
I do like this setup from SEN. They have good information across the entire map. Controlling B main with the pit. They've got the turret to watch for players coming up tube. Zelsis can watch under, just jiggling that angle. The sack on A. This is a solid setup.
All right, what is this?
Split right now, the rare A split.
Okay, we've got some pressure coming from A main at the same time as well. Narrate has fallen on the side. John getting a little bit nervous, but he's going to spray him anyway. Oh, it's a 3-piece for the Moroccan mastermind. And he knows there are players on the side for Bilibili. Bites his time. Gets second up by Rafters to take the fight, but Levius beats him to the punch and through the smoke, apparently. Levius deals with John.
You should run.
Numbers are even now, and both teams go for these lockdowns simultaneously. A Venn diagram of disaster in the middle, and Zelsus waits on them to come on out and give them a fight. Boy howdy, SEN having to fight tooth and nail for every one of these rounds.
That was so chaotic. John again goes off. At the moment has been the catalyst for SEN getting rounds. Adjustment back, spray down, ready for the swing on the right from YZ. That was snappy aim again from the IGL.
Good call to fight mid, boys. Really good job fighting mid. I almost threw, but I'm goated.
I think self-affirmation is very important. Part of the tool set for a competitive player.
You know, I'd love to see teams on attack go for the A split. It's very rare, but unfortunately, when you try to reinvent the wheel on Icebox, you lose the round. You hate to see it. I think the A split win rate on this map might be like 10%. But
not great.
Keep on trying. I love to see the attempts. It is just so hard to pull off.
It's YZ this time. He's getting up to very early. Obviously wants to listen out. Looking for his latest dose of diet milk.
Cover going out.
Oh, what happened to Zek in there? He's very, very low. Just some trades here. Shots through the one way, most likely. Favor Billy. And there's John.
Oh my god.
Nonchalant is YZ.
I'm liking this round from Billy right now with YZ fighting this middle area of the map, the rest of the team making a lot of noise B main, and then I believe they run away out of B main to try and audio cue a pivot. Is Nary going to catch YZ here? He's trapped between two players.
Caught an audible. YZ now reveals himself. Narate's got the timing. Finally, the thorn in the side for SEN has been extracted, but plant down at B behind all of his controller util.
That offered enough distraction that neither anchor could focus on main. Flash coming through Paranoia into B main as well. Counter Hunter's Fury, just can't connect onto Narrate.
A little bit too low. Neither Narrate nor Zelsus affected. Rushia in this position, we saw him rip a shot on towards Crow's Nest a couple rounds back. This time a little bit more patient. Levy is in position for a wrap. SEN surely. Oh, they've got a turret watching the timing, but it doesn't seem to matter because they're fighting over the B. It's favoring this Chinese squad. It is Russia dominating yellow again and again.
Russia is looking incredible on LAN right now at this international event. He's stepping up from the last games we saw of him during their qualifying run. He was good, but he's hitting another level right now.
Just another reckoning just around the corner, by the way.
It is meant to. One more orb and he'll have it. BLG are just so proactive. They are just choosing to swing out together, find a timing where SEN are trying to move forward. They're catching them out in the open on these retake efforts.
Defensive null command is already here for John. Tough, though, to get ahead of this Viper Harbor comp that canvas off this B site so effectively.
You know, at no point SEN have even had a worthy enough economy to try and op in this half at all. Never been an option. And this last one, Zelsus going to get more proactive, get down mid. BLG have certainly been sending silent lurks in that area of the map, so hoping to catch someone.
They're pinging Zelsus' location, but the turret's been extracted from that area. Levius pulled it out. And Neff doesn't quite have a sharp enough peek around the corner. Now SEN have that mid control this round.
I love that from Zelsus. This is a really intelligent pivot.
So look at SEN pulling off this A side. Perhaps because of this. Reckoning comes in, SEN's just going to give it up for the time being. Zekin. Got to be joining the team now.
Okay, Kano wants to get in a cheeky position to even things up, but he's triple swung. SEN are so prepared for that. Probably expecting YZ to be up there, to be frank, but they'll be happy to get that kill regardless.
Through the high tide, expect multi-swings on YZ. He's got to get out. Cloudburst away with the Paranoia and effect. Roshia, though, again, surely not. He backs up. Takes John QT out of the game and then falls back to a more safe position. He gets a second. How is he getting away with this? Levius and YZ now have to fight for this in a short-handed situation. He's on the spike location and in the middle of the dark cover. He dispatches Narrate. Now, though, overwhelmed. Zekin and Zelsus to the rescue. And Levius sees one of them, but he can't stop Zelsus. A great round from Zelsus, getting that mid-control, converting into a very important fourth round for SEN. Deja vu vibes continue from their last game.
Celsius really did play that last round fantastically. Him and John, the two players that have kept SEN in this game. What can be enough for this second half when you get rolling on attack?
All right, we've got more Icebox just around the corner as BLG makes a strong start. It's up to SEN City to come alive.
What's another death?
Coming back into our second half of Icebox here in this series between Sentinels and Billy, with the winner advancing to the playoffs. We got you guys a Coinbase econ report, and already Russia, no surprise to me, standing out. Guys, been looking pretty incredible, but a lot of very efficient play here from Billy. Remember, this is a measure of the sort of damage you do divided by the credits you spend on it. And we know that the economy was incredible for Billy over so much of that first half, Wyatt.
I think specifically what's been incredible is YZ. He's taking so many first engagements, either getting a kill or often dying. He is constantly pushing and yet has been able to have a very strong number for this econ report at 68.4. He's dying a lot, taking so many fights, having to rebuy. Yeah, he keeps rebuying, but he's still going off. Right now, 15 and 8 for him. Most deaths on the team and most kills. That is the most YZ stat line imaginable.
Now, the word from Kaplan after SEN's game against Wolves, where they started in a really similar fashion. It was only a 4-round defense side on split, admittedly. He said, we just needed some time to calibrate, but when you lose the pistol and you lose the bonus, you're going to bleed a fair number of rounds. That's a fairly disastrous way to start a series. See what SEN have for us, though, on this attack side, which is where obviously they were able to generate some momentum in their last game. With the pistol now, already early push up from Billy here. YZ, unsurprisingly at the front, and Zekin is waiting.
Nice little classic right click to open things up for SEN on a much-needed pistol round. Now taking their time. Zekin's going to wait for the rest of the team to be able to group up so they can take B main together. Neff just hoping to get one kill and then escape, and he does exactly that.
That was narrate, poor guy. Get taken down there. So that at least has given Billy a bit more confidence, evening the ledge. There's now an encroachment from the SEN side on A, and it's just K-Knight who's watching for belts.
Bro is out in the open. Just watching for belt. Recon gonna go through today. Attempt to swing onto pressure coming both sides of the map.
Well, gets swung on. K-Knight's the one that precipitates that action. He is very exposed in that spot. Here's Russia. He also pretty exposed and on his own.
Fellas, we're getting a little bit too silly with these peaks right now. SEN are exploiting that overextension and aggression from the defenders. Now Levius wants to get in a decent position. He's go for the one. I love the way he's playing this. The movement is sick.
That is raw sauce. And there is Neff to come to the rescue. That could have gone awfully wrong for BLG. What a tale of two teams in that round. Firstly, individuals out in the open getting picked off, and then Levius, 3 kills from behind that box. That is diabolical.
That was buttery smooth movement. He's breaking ankles. They don't know which side to look on. He's just making
30 seconds left. One
little tiny
enemy
hits.
remaining.
Look at how he's able to isolate players with 3 of them staring at him.
Neff says, all right, you've done most of the work. I'll come through and clean up the round. That's pretty rough for this America's roster. SEN desperately needed a pistol here to get something going. No force here, though, in the anti-eco. Pistols, and Neff says, well, don't mind if I do.
He loves just pushing up, getting one and leaving. He gets away with it again. But of course, this is just SEN on all classics. Pretty standard way to take yellow there. We're going to probably see that a couple more times in this half, where you have Zek and teleport across, basically pseudo-jet, while that flash comes through from John.
Neff trying to see what he can find. YZ, front and center, delivers Zek and flattened Russia. Pick it up where he left off. And he'll have himself a DPC here because, of course, we love Reckoning. Great ability.
I gotta say, the anti-ecos from Billy this game have been great. They are hardly taking any damage at all. A couple in the first half, they were committing the Reckoning to do it. There should be so many kills. He just kept cycling through those. It felt like it didn't even matter. But it has just kept them in this state where they are winning the economic game. SEN had to eco several times in that first half. But you see it on the timeline. They're not able to string anything together. Billy were just chilling the entire time. They even won the bonus on the first half. They don't take any of the upgraded rifles on that initial anti-eco. They still won it. Same case here. They have Bulldogs, a Guardian, a couple SMGs.
Sentinels need a clean first gun round here against Billy. Otherwise, things get awkward. Snakebite here to dissuade any early aggression. Sensei, right, we'll wait this one out. In the middle of the dark cover is YZ, hovering over them like a spectre. Holding onto it as well. It's narrate and taken out, and he just drops back.
With the Spectre as well, and now they want to double up play back yellow. They have been spotted out by the 0 point steal. Nice little cascade to play off. I like that Renusha giving good utility to support, to these anchors.
Slowly, Billy giving up this map control, but they're always forcing SEN to part with their util in order to do so. Very expensive advancement for SEN across the map here.
Zelsis is hoping to be on his Neff arc going through Tube. Hoping to have as much impact as the Viper did on those attack side lurks. He's hearing a lot of movement there, actually. Of the players going through Kitchen. That should alert the rest of the team that they can get into this B site off the wall. And it's nice when you have those additional dark covers as well. You can cover up, obscure that angle from the snowman, make it safer to
Oh, God. Zelsa surely has heard this. Looks like very quickly YZ got under Tube. So Zelsa hasn't been able to be effective from this position outside of just radioing back some of this information.
Look at that second, puts a dark cover on the turret so he can get by undetected.
Maybe this is taken down here. Second, playing from yellow. Knight has to step up here. SEN got 3 guns in the game still. K-Knight needs to find a way to extract them. Maybe take Bang first. That is a big ass, and Zelsa finally activates.
He's in the action.
Forced on her way. And there you have it, Sentinels. That first buy round is fruitful. 3 rifles maintained. When the climb begins.
They were really doing the most. So Zelsa's going to win that round with the flank, but they ended up just killing everyone on the retake anyway, so all good. Nice enemy remaining. Able to just get that intuitive timing on spam through for another player to swing.
Something sort of indicates to Billy that they need to rotate off that B side after they throw the high tide up, but SEN just cut noise and wait. They sort of respect that stall util. So Billy are in a bit of an awkward spot in the end when it comes to the side hit. They allow for a plant. Here's round 16 for you.
Early 0 point thrown from John over towards Pipes, which is going to be very common because YZ will love to just stand up there, activate the dash, go for an early fight. Oh my God, again, Neff, speaking of early fights, just wants to keep trying to get these tight angle picks in main and then fall away. That time, punished hard for it.
This is something we've seen SEN do already this tournament. On that attack side, punish these individual wide swings, risky plays from their opponents, and there's Zelsis. Sometimes the best laid plans go to waste. That one, though, at least results in a 1-for-1. And SEN have a pretty heavy-handed post-plant scenario now. And now I think Billy say, we don't have a whole lot to do here.
That was nice from Zelsis, just able to timing that drone. And again, this is another round where he gets a lot of information over towards A, because Billy, they are so far pushed up. They are trying to drone that deep, which is pretty wild. And so he just knows that, hey, the rest of you just go on into B. It's either light or free at this point. I mean, most likely light, you know, with a one anchor playing far back, maybe spam angle through Snowman, something like that. And so they're happy to just take that site for free yet again.
A bunch of questions about, you know, John moving into this more initiator-focused role. Some people speculated that after the Teo nerfs he'd move back, but he said, I feel it's much easier for me to call a macro game when I'm not lurking on the other side of the map playing Sentinel, much like Zelsis is in this round. Because I kind of want to be in the initiator shoes, I'm comfortable in this role, and I have a much better handle on both the micro and macro aspects of the game where I can play with the body of the team.
Yeah, nice to be able to have that utility to set up second, be very involved in the executes. See what Billy ought to do here. They are just going to half buy with the saved rifles. They don't want to commit too much. Their economy is definitely not hard enough to do so. Rushi actually with the glass cannon Guardian, very rare, and has another Reckoning. So perhaps that can be enough to win this half buy round.
I mean, what he did with that Guardian earlier in that first half,
that was
should be studied.
That was disgusting.
Sentinels here, kind of enveloped by that high tide on A, and no hurry to leave for now, but this Al drone is like, I'm going to reveal at least Zekken. So they know the Omen is there. On B, tentatively Senna starting to probe this part of the map, and Neff has to find a timing sort of to swing out, but sees nothing.
Bang has gotten in a great forward position. Neff will be falling back. The Billy are happy to be stacked up towards A. They want to push up right now, but what a timing on that 0 point.
That sees two players, so Sen actually going to back up on A. They are really working the map right now. With Neff pulling away from B, Senna found a good time to rotate, but likely will be sniffed out by Billy pretty darn quickly. They're going to make a 4-8 straight down mid. They'll get to B pretty quickly as a result. This Viper's wall, though, will be a factor and in play.
30 seconds left.
Narrate's looking to try and get up a plant.
They're really trying to delay with these mollies, and in fact, if time gets low enough, they might want to use this Reckoning if they can stop the Wingman.
They didn't. Wingman gets the plant down, and John and Bang get to work. Ooh, buddy, blink and you miss it. Billy try and interrupt the plant midway through, swing that wall, but they've got no idea what's waiting for them on the other side.
Deleted from the server. John is turning up. Another 3K. I think that's his third of the game so far. Deny that half by deny any value for the Reckoning, which is ultimately just thrown out the window now. Pop flash through. I love how John's playing this KO. We talk about it being set up teammates as an IPL, but also when you're in this KO role in a this you're one of the most active entry players, him and Zekken, and there are going to be a lot of moments where you're going to want to take time and swinging through Viper walls.
We see just how these very heavy flashes for Sen let them just play forward for that space in the post plant, get through their own Viper wall, take some of those engagements. Billy had to call a timeout here because Sen they're doing the thing they've been doing, right? The whole only get 4 rounds on defense and then lay it on thick on the other side of the map. And this is Sentinels who lost this second half pistol, was still able to recover on that first gun round with 3 rifles in tow. And the economic situation in this half has been a far cry from what we saw in the first 12 rounds.
Great economic state. Ult's coming into this next pivotal buy round for Billy out of timeout. A difference between the two teams on the respective defensive halves is that because Billy got off to a hot start, they do have off money. That's something that they can bring into the fold heading forward, and they are going to do so. That's wisely picking it up. We'll see what they opt to do with this setup. Super common to just do something like, hey, get your Jet Opera to watch B main. Everybody else go stack towards that A side.
They don't have an Aldrone Sentinels to force that up, but Dizzy can have a similar effect. Wising is glass cannon here. So he probably has to be a little bit cognizant of that. Strong wind to blow him over.
Try and take this mid-cross, which is going to be... Oh my god, okay!
We just said it! Not the kind of caster curse I'm sure Wisey would have liked. No armor, very susceptible to that spray down through the smoke, and that's a high-value kill that Sen got. Zekken though is out of the game.
I like that confidence from Levius hearing the teleport. Swinging out to even things up. High tide to cycle when that Viper wall drops. The lockdown is placed. To Billy try to fight or just get out. K-Knight is hoping to just get a spam kill before retreating out of it. They will play this safe.
There are, amidst this, getting Neff in a backstab position, but he's spotted out by the turret and actually has to call a cancel on that. Narrates in the side. Here comes a Viper's Pit now from Sentinels to shore things up. K-Knight swings out. John, man, he's been solid. Finds his one. Rushi, though, has been very, very dangerous in situations not unlike this one. Zelsis knew this was coming. The turret got broken about 10-15 seconds ago, and he knew Narrates, okay, gets in there and interrupts Rushia. And now Levius credited with that first kill of the round on Zekin. This is just too much to expect from him, and Narrate steps up to clean him out.
Op not able to get an ounce of value. They just free spam through, gets that kill, and then send very easy 1-2 hit with the ultimates. Lockdown, take the site, everyone's off, Viper's Pit, playing it with the post plant. It's just that simple sometimes.
You don't mess with
Zelsis again with that awareness too to watch the flank. He is playing a great map right now. Really impressed by him.
Trying to
very
flank on
smart,
me?
more than anything.
See how it goes.
Null command on deck here for Sentinels. They're always the option for a fast hit behind that ultimate. It is going to be a somewhat eco round here. Neff going for that Guardian. Early high tide here just to cover that A side of the map as Billy look to hedge their bets through mid and B instead.
I'll tell you, Billy would love to be able to force some of these ultimates out on this round. So when they get to the next buy round, they can have the advantage in terms of the ult economy, with K-Nut being one away. Still holding on to their lockdown as well.
Billy have no current information about the A side of the map. So the Owl drone does get deployed. K-Knight needs to get an idea of the movements of Sentinels, and they've got a bit of info here. Blade Storm's at the ready for YZ.
Suppressing.
The timing looks pretty good. Here's nobody. Okay, just one affected by that 0 point. An in-come Sentinel trying to make this hit, but bang, is taken down. YZ eviscerates him now as K-Knight tries to crouch and spray. It's no good.
Long range Dead Frenzy, not going to do a whole lot. I mean, I like John using Null Command to turn those knives off, but he's just hungry for more. Trade it out.
Still, YZ is in that flanking position. Sendo, there might be a little bit of a clock, and the knives are back out and ready to go, but Narrate getting into the game now. What a time to do it. Levius again, the last player standing. There's a lot to deal with. The turret claims him. Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
I'm going to assume he stood up if I turn around or doing something after the turret kill. That's too funny. Okay, Billy, at least, like I said, all right, they get one of the ults out. The Null Command is forced because they want to ensure that YZ can't do anything on the flank with the Blade Storm after he kills Bang. And frankly, that did end up mattering. He had the angle. One of the players probably would have gotten a kill with the Blade Storm, but only had the Frenzy as that secondary. Yeah, as expected.
Yeah, they get that soundbite in there. Make sure we don't miss that one. Early crash off the rip here over towards the B side of the map. Billy quickly have to give that space up as K-Knight's looking for a Hunter's Fury to light them up and sees nothing. Not a damn thing.
I was just hoping to, of course, catch Narrate there after he uses the Thrash. That is not the case, and Narrate should be able to recover that ult to use it again.
Second time that K-Knight's tried that. Last time was when Narrate thrashed out on defense. Zekin is, look at him, entrenched here in mid. Also, has his ultimate available. Where are we headed with that?
You want more?
Then taking their time on the flanks, waiting to see if anyone is going to push out Thrash, clearing out everything. Front side does get the ping on the YZ, but certainly no one should be able to convert on that. He's way too far back.
I think they're going to try and fight this anyway.
Going for it.
He's recovered. Yeah, ships in the night. They pass through the dark cover on either side of each other. Zekin has got the deep, but YZ has a chance to pop out here, and Zelsis is not ready for it. There's a gap in the net. Zekin, though, himself is a cat amongst the pigeons. Tries to get away. The Reckoning deployed, and BLG able to catch him out. Deny Sen the chance to even up the game and now get one step closer to claiming this map themselves.
That was almost so clutch from Zekin. Just didn't know exactly where he wanted to teleport. Waited one unfortunate extra second. At some point there, I believe Rusha got a kill, which was why he was able to get and then gets that Reckoning at the very last moment just to ensure that they can win this very crucial 2 versus 1.
YZ was able to slip through and get 2 kills on that retake. I think Zelsis is just not ready to see a Billy player come from there after Zekin already pushed into his own smoke like that. Awkward.
Does have the Viper's Pit. Does he want to just use this on B straight away? No, he doesn't. Expecting maybe there's going to be a Dizzy with a teleport up top from Zek in there. Wanted to post up on the angle.
Pretty patient from Neff. We saw Bang throw his down off rip in this context. Here's the Viper's Pit over on the B side.
Going to use it fairly late, but it'll deny the common plant spot.
Sentinels, though, still convinced there's a reason to linger.
Why is he pushed up very close? You can see the rotation that has been called due to that from Bilibili. All of the players stacked towards B, even with the Viper's Pit down there. SEN, they want nothing to do with it. You know, this comp that they have, it is lacking a tool to really effectively deal with getting through a pit. So they would rather go towards this A site. YZ is hoping to just get one and run away.
Doesn't have a tailwind. Always had to be like a natty peak. And again, he has no backup. He doesn't expose himself like some of his contemporaries did in this situation earlier this map.
30 seconds left.
Paranoia comes in, YZ unaffected though. He's going to be tucked here by the box, but Second knows where to dig him out. But here come the reinforcements.
The spike is so far forward.
It is out in the open. Zekin has to help John retrieve, and they're going to come forward. Playing from Crow's Nest now. It's Zekin in a 1 versus 3. Haroshi is too quick for him. 3 for the Harbor. Map point for Bilibili.
It's been a great effort for SEN to come back on this second half. But at the very last moment, Bilibili are looking like they're going to capture another win with Rusha and YZ both at 22 kills right now. That's what they finished with the other day when they played Icebox. But they've still got more rounds to push things further. They are playing so well. It was dangerous from YZ's point of view. This guy's committing to the site. He's trying to tuck. He spotted out. He had to break that molly. But Bilibili were so fast on that rotate back from B into the site that he got the support he needed.
And maybe Sentinels were a little ponderous. The way that they allowed for Bilibili to get back into that site.
And scaling so close to screens with the spike was an element of the loss of that round.
Yeah, but it might have been narrate with that in hand. Maybe just a mix-up on where the Gecko was supposed to be in that situation. Made it virtually unrecoverable, especially with Bilibili flooding back in as they did. So last time out here for Sentinels. A good run back, reminiscent again, I'm going to say it, of their game against Wolves. But this time Bilibili have stopped their momentum dead.
The difference between this game and that one might just come down to the fact that Bilibili win the pistol round in the second half. That might be the only difference, because Wolves almost ran it back, but they just couldn't at the very end. They didn't give themselves that buffer.
All right, Toronto, let's get loud for round number 22. Bilibili trying to close this out. SEN trying to hang on.
Got the full buy for both sides here. Even if SEN can get this one, really have enough cash to keep things going, keep applying the pressure, and 3 opportunities to close this game out. Take their map pick.
Shadows traveling. Dialed in our Sentinels. They know they've got a hill to climb. Does he catch his YZ? But he's hanging on the rope for the time. What am I watching? He still crosses. The sheer audacity from this guy. Eventually, Tailwind's going to get him back to safety. Bilibili, though, happy to rattle the cage a little bit.
Rusha wants to go for more as well, just trying to take a little jiggle peek, catch someone before his exit.
No respect for Bilibili here.
They're happy on defense right now to just maintain those stacked up positions towards A, play B for retake. It's just the alarm bot over there from Levius to get the information if SEN are going to push up. He also ran out just hearing the footsteps. Everyone's here. 0 point clears back B. It's going to be a flash for Second to get back yellow.
K-Knight does have that Recon dart available, so.
Does K-Knight just have the 6th sense right now?
He's hanging around, doesn't? Oh god, he's still holding that line. Zelsis is about to walk into a trap, and K-Knight from the rafters hangs. It doesn't matter. What a win for Zelsis. Now it's a step forward for Sentinels, but much more to be done. Look at this rotate getting pulled over.
It's convinced them that they have to go back to this A site. SEN fully cut noise after getting space back yellow on B. Zelsis caught, so things are evened up, but the plant will be going down 4-3 right now.
He single-handedly opens this opportunity for SEN to get an uncontested B-side plant. Trades his life out, he's done his job for now.
John has a strong amount of utility to play with here as well. Actually has both flashes. They didn't need to use it to take back yellow earlier. He's got the molly for delay. Second is a paranoia. Gonna be tough for Billy to get back in. They do have a cove maybe to get a safe defuse. They're hoping to use it there. Yep, it's going to be activated.
Paranoia throwing out second, just a little too slow to the punch. Narrate tucked in the corner, he knows he's going to be overwhelmed, and Wisey wants to push up into the rest of the defenders. The high tide comes down, and so does the curtain on this first map for Sentinels. The dragon stirs, and Billy are eyeing off that playoff spot.
Defenders
What a way
win.
to start.
It looked like Sen were on pace for another comeback in the first map, just like what they did to Wolves yesterday. But Billy winning that pistol round on the second half, closing things out, making adaptations at the end.